Have you ever felt that some of history's most defining stories hold deeper currents beneath the surface? Ancient wisdom often whispers of truths veiled within the narratives we accept. There exists a perspective on the crucifixion that invites us not to challenge faith, but to deepen it in a truly transformative way. It suggests that the event was far more profound than we have ever imagined. This is not a path for those who cling to the familiar. I invite you to walk this path of inquiry with me, for the insights we uncover may illuminate your own life's journey in unexpected ways. When we explore ancient teachings, we often find that a singular event can have many layers of meaning. The story of the crucifixion is no exception. A deeper perspective suggests the familiar narrative is not a deception, but a protective layer. It shields a spiritual truth that humanity may not have been prepared to fully grasp. This veil was placed over the true experience, not to hide, but to preserve its essence. The crucifixion is thus presented as an event of cosmic significance, extending beyond physical suffering. It was not merely the passing of one life, but an intentional act designed to ripple through the fabric of time and consciousness itself. To truly grasp this event is to touch the very core of life and the nature of your own spirit. This requires a willingness to release rigid thoughts and open to the possibility that great truths lie waiting in the spaces between the words. Ancient wisdom suggests the crucifixion was never an act of defeat, but the culmination of a vast spiritual design. The master at its center understood what was to unfold. He prepared not just for the pain, but for the profound lack of understanding from those around him. You can see this was not the path of a victim, but a final, powerful demonstration of surrender and unconditional love. The focus shifts from suffering to transcendence, and here, the conventional view begins to expand. The wisdom traditions remind us that such profound moments are often met with unease by those who see truth as a fixed and unchanging thing, but genuine understanding only blossoms when it is tested and explored. By contemplating a more symbolic, less literal crucifixion, you are invited to journey into the depths of your own awareness. From this space, every element of the story takes on new life, capable of transforming your inner landscape. This perspective does not seek to weaken belief, but to give it stronger, deeper roots. For if one person could navigate such a profound spiritual process, it reveals that every human being carries the capacity to transcend their own great trials. The event, then, ceases to be history frozen in time. It becomes a living, breathing lesson on the unyielding power of the spirit over the transient nature of form. This perspective teaches that the journey to the cross began long before that final ascent. In the preceding days, the Master existed in a state of profound connection with the unseen world. His moments of prayer were not pleas for strength, but a focused alignment with a purpose that involved both divine and elemental forces. This was a deep preparation where every thought held immense creative weight. He understood what he was about to face, not as an unwilling participant, but as a guide fulfilling a mission of awakening. This inner knowing granted him a powerful stillness, even in the face of immense physical hardship. The weight of the world was present, yet an internal light, an unwavering flame, burned brightly within. This light was fed by the certainty that the soul's true essence can never be diminished. There were also subtle shifts in the world itself, perceivable only to those with an open heart. The atmosphere grew still. The very air seemed to hold its breath, as if nature itself was witnessing a sacred act. A powerful presence emanated from him, a unique blend of peace and intensity that defied words. Many could not explain what they felt, only that they were in the presence of something extraordinary. Each conversation, each simple act in those final days, carried hidden layers of meaning. He was preparing his followers to understand, in their own time, that this event was not an ending, but a passage. This journey demanded immense courage and trust, not just from the Master, but from all who walked with him. Before we continue on this path, let us feel the collective energy of our journey. In the comments below, share the city, state, or country from where you are joining this exploration. Let's create a tapestry of our shared intention and witness how far this quiet understanding can reach. Please write below, and together, let us expand this field of awareness. These teachings also speak of great activity on the unseen planes. Beings of immense light were present, offering support, while forces of shadow sought to disrupt the mission. An invisible landscape of spiritual struggle unfolded, where the final victory would depend solely on the power of love and unwavering intention. The Master was fully aware of this, knowing the cross represented the pivotal moment. This understanding entirely reframes the days leading up to the event. They were not simply filled with tension, but were a time of deep spiritual cultivation for an act that would echo through ages, a preparation that ultimately included all of humanity. In the conventional telling, the cross is a symbol of agony that resulted in death. Yet, from a deeper space of awareness, we find its meaning transformed. Consider that at the moment of the crucifixion, it was not merely an execution, but the opening of a profound spiritual gateway. The cross, from this viewpoint, acts as a bridge connecting the physical world with the higher realms of spirit. It is a symbol that rises above human pain and reconnects us with our divine nature. He did not view the cross as a punishment, but as an essential part of the journey. For him, it represented not loss, but victory, the spirit's triumph over the limitations of the body. This awareness transmuted physical pain into a conscious offering, aimed at liberating not only himself, but all souls from their inner chains. In this light, the cross is no longer an instrument of finality, but becomes the ultimate symbol of transcendence. From deep contemplative states, masters have perceived that he entered altered states of consciousness during the ordeal. At times, his awareness was fully merged with the spiritual plane, experiencing realities those around him could not fathom. This state of being allowed the physical pain to be present, but not overwhelming, for his spirit was anchored in something far greater. It was an act of complete mastery over the human condition. There was also a powerful energetic component. The cross became a point of convergence where divine and earthly energies met. All human struggle and all divine love intersected in that one moment, creating a spiritual shockwave that continues to resonate today. This cannot be understood by the logical mind alone, but it can be felt by a heart in quiet attunement. This view does not diminish the event, but magnifies it. The cross becomes a living, timeless symbol, inviting you to see that you also carry your own cross. And just like the Master, you have the power to transform it into a bridge toward the light, not a burden of defeat. Among the most profound insights is the idea that the physical body may not have experienced death in the conventional sense. Ancient wisdom suggests that a spiritual phenomenon transformed the physical experience itself. This was not an escape, but a demonstration of absolute mastery over the interplay of matter and spirit. At that critical moment, the body could have entered a state of energetic transition, appearing as death to the physical senses. This would explain why different accounts hold varying details about the event. This transition was a teaching meant to show that true life is not confined to the physical form. The spirit is sovereign, and the body can be guided by a will that is in complete harmony with the universal source. Some traditions even speak of the ability to be present in two places at once, on the cross and in another dimension simultaneously. This challenges logic, but aligns with accounts of enlightened masters throughout time. The physical suffering was real, but the center of his awareness was on a higher plane, making the pain a manageable part of a much greater mission. The disciples were not merely onlookers. They were entrusted as guardians of a truth too profound to be spoken openly. It is said that some among them, like Peter, John, and Mary Magdalene, perceived the spiritual currents flowing through the event. However, to protect the message and their mission from persecution, they chose to record only what the people of that time could bear to hear and understand. The symbolic language found in the scriptures is a reflection of this careful protection. Many stories were crafted to hold deeper truths within simple, accessible narratives. This method common to ancient traditions, allowed the core teachings to survive through turbulent times, even if their inner meanings were veiled. What some now see as contradictions could instead be guideposts for those seeking a more profound understanding. The Master also instructed his followers not to become lost in the drama of the physical world. He wanted them to feel that his presence would not end, but would instead be magnified within the heart of every person. This guidance shaped their path, centering their message on love and inner change, not on suffering alone. This quiet wisdom was essential for the survival of the new way. Had they revealed the full depth of what they witnessed, their message might have been dismissed or destroyed. Holding back certain truths was not an act of fear, but one of compassionate strategy. They were planting seeds of wisdom that would sprout when the soil of human consciousness was ready. This reframes the disciples from simple storytellers to protectors of a sacred mystery. This silent guardianship was as vital as their presence during his final hours. By protecting these deeper truths, they preserved the essence of a teaching that still has the power to transform our world today. The resurrection was not just a return to physical life, it was the ultimate expression of our spiritual nature. It stands as a powerful testament to the eternal quality of the soul. The form that appeared 3 days later was not bound by the familiar laws of matter. It was a body of light, able to move between dimensions and appear uniquely to each person who witnessed it. This may be why some disciples did not immediately recognize him. He no longer carried the signs of physical limitation, but radiated a vibrant, luminous presence. This was not simply proof of his identity, but a map showing the destiny that awaits every soul who achieves complete alignment with the divine. The resurrection is therefore not an isolated event, but a universal blueprint for awakening. This event is also a profound teaching that death has no real power over the spirit. He used this moment to demonstrate in an undeniable way that life is a continuous journey. This insight should instill courage in you when facing your own trials and offer comfort in the face of loss, reminding you that your soul's true home is eternal. A subtle aspect of the resurrection lies in how he tailored his appearance to convey specific messages. To Mary Magdalene, he was personal and familiar. To the disciples on the road, he was an ordinary traveler. To Thomas, he offered the tangible proof he needed. Each appearance was perfectly attuned to the spiritual needs of the recipient, an act of profound compassion. This reveals that the resurrection was a revelation of his true, liberated spiritual state. He was no longer limited by pain, time, or space. He was free, guiding his followers until they were ready to carry the flame forward. Embracing the crucifixion and resurrection from this deeper, spiritual viewpoint does not weaken faith, it gives it wings. By understanding that the Master transcended physical pain and death itself, you can see that the central message is one of victory, not of loss. This victory is not his alone. It is a living demonstration of what becomes possible for any soul aligned with a higher purpose. It is natural that this perspective might be challenging. Many people's beliefs are built upon literal interpretations, and a shift in foundation can feel unsettling. Yet, truth has nothing to fear from inquiry. If he conquered the cross, not just through endurance, but through spiritual mastery, then our own potential becomes far greater. For it points to a path that moves beyond mere appearances. This perspective also broadens the idea of salvation. It ceases to be an external gift and becomes an internal process of awakening. The cross is no longer only a symbol of a past sacrifice. It is a reminder that you too can move through your own inner trials and be reborn with greater strength and wisdom. Another vital point emerges: faith becomes an active practice. It is not about passively hoping for a miracle, but about actively embodying the teachings of love, forgiveness, and compassion in your own life. The Master's journey, seen through this lens, is not a distant story to be revered, but a practical example to be lived, moment by moment. The cross transforms from a symbol of suffering into a symbol of transformation. When this understanding takes root, our collective spiritual life can take a leap in consciousness. Belief rooted in fear can be gently replaced by a faith grounded in trust. Trust in divine love and in the certainty of your own eternal nature. This shift is not just theological, it is deeply personal and emotional. This revelation is an invitation. The initial journey may be unfamiliar, but the destination is a stronger, freer, and more conscious life. A life capable of facing the greatest challenges with stillness, because you understand that your spirit is indestructible. At the very heart of these deeper teachings on the crucifixion lies a simple, powerful message: life is eternal, and love is the ultimate force in the cosmos. The Master's purpose was not simply to save, but to show that you, too, have the power to overcome your own crosses. This lesson is as potent and alive today as it was 2 millennia ago. The crucifixion and resurrection are not just historical events, they are spiritual patterns that replay in every human life. At some point, you will experience challenges or losses that seem insurmountable. But just like the Master, you can find the strength within your own spirit to navigate these moments and emerge more aware and free. This is the essence of a living faith. Humanity often becomes focused on worshipping the image, while forgetting to live the example. The greatest honor we can give is to apply these teachings in our daily lives, to offer forgiveness when it is difficult, to extend help when it is inconvenient, and to love without expecting anything in return. This practice is what truly changes the world. Our collective spiritual future depends on this simple understanding. When we begin to practice unconditional love as a way of being, not as a distant goal, we will draw closer to what he called the kingdom of God. This kingdom is not a place, but a state of consciousness where peace and harmony reside. And the crucifixion, seen through this new light, is the pathway that leads us there. The final message, therefore, is a call to awakened action. It is not enough to admire the sacrifice. You must allow this spirit of surrender and love to inspire your every choice. In this way, the meaning of the cross becomes a living, breathing reality within your own heart. If you accept this truth, you will live a life of greater fullness, less confined by fear and more guided by the deep knowing that life is continuous. The cross, then, is not a story of the past, but an eternal reminder that love and the human spirit will always triumph. Given all we have explored, the crucifixion ceases to be a narrative of pain. It becomes a powerful lesson in transcendence. He came not only to endure for us, but to show us that our true life is beyond the body, and that our spirit is eternal. When you grasp this, you begin to see the cross not as a destination, but as the gateway to a new awareness. This vision expands your own spiritual life and invites you to live with greater purpose. Perhaps the greatest challenge is not in believing these insights, but in allowing them to transform how you live. For what is the value of knowing a truth if it does not flow into your actions? The message is clear: follow the example. Live with unconditional love and trust in the power of your spirit. That is the true victory over any cross you will ever face. Have you ever considered that the crucifixion holds a much deeper meaning than you were taught? How does this perspective change the way you see that great Master and your own spiritual path? I would be honored to read your thoughts in the comments, as your own insights may inspire another who is also on this journey. If this reflection has touched your heart and awakened new questions, I invite you to subscribe, activate the bell for future sharings, and pass this on to those you care for. Together, we can spread an understanding that illuminates and empowers. The more we embrace this truth, the closer we come to living in the love and awareness that was so beautifully taught.